What up guys, Andyonsports back with yet another video, and today I'm going to be making a video on my favorite goaltender in the NHL and the goalie from my favorite NHL hockey team, James Reimer, Optimus Rhyme, the Rhyme Minister of Defense, whatever you want to call him. Okay, so let's just start off with some basic info. He's the goalie of the Toronto Maple Leafs, number 34, 6'2", weighs 208 pounds, catches left. Born March 15th, 1988. He's 24 years old. His birthplace is in Morweena, Manitoba, Canada. I believe that's the same place where Ed Belfour was born. Drafted by Toronto in 2006 in the NHL entry draft in the 4th round, 99th overall. Now, let's talk about this little Optimus Rhyme fan base. Alright? I am a hugely part of it, okay? In 2010, 2011, we had J.S. Shiger and Jonas Gustafsson go down with injuries, okay? And we felt like there was no hope until James Reimer was called up to face Ottawa, and the Leafs ended up winning 5-1. Then they were winning games left and right. James Reimer became a household name in Toronto. Went 20-10 in 37 games with 5 OT. I think it's counted as 5 OT losses, or I think just maybe 5 OT games. I'm not sure. He had 3 shutouts in 37 games. 90 goals against. 1,134 saves, a .921 save percentage, 2.60 goals against average, and played 2,080 minutes, okay? Now, that was the birth of Optimus Rhyme, and he became God. I remember going to a Leaf game last year, earlier in the season, and his face is plastered on everything. He's laminated to the tables at the pizza stations. His face is all over the pizza signs. He has his own cup at the pizza station. He's like laminated to the floor. He's laminated to the side of the building. He's everywhere, okay? Tons of Reimer jerseys in the crowd because he became God in Toronto, okay? Drunk guys singing a song about him after the game, which was hilarious. And he was just a good goaltender. I'm going to take something from Steve Dangle here. Where are you going to find a goalie like James Reimer, who's a nice Christian goaltender? He grew up, I think, by Mennonites, I believe. That's what the story is. And he's just a good person. He's always smiling, never turning down events for, kids or the Leafs Nation. He's just a good-hearted person who gets paid just a low salary in the NHL for a goaltender, and he's good on top of it. Okay, that's something you don't find in very many goalies. Just go ask Brzgalov. That was a cheap little thing there, but it's true. You're really not gonna find a goalie like him very often, and I'm glad that the Leafs have a goalie like him. Now we go to this season that just passed. 2011-2012, he's on a roll starting off the season with a shutout. He's played a couple good games in a row, and then he gets kicked in the head by Brian Gionta. Okay? Now, I still don't believe, like, what Gionta said in an interview when he stated that Reimer's head was in the way, so he had to get it out of the way. Now, that's just very rude. I'm just saying, like, that's just horrible to say. And when Reimer got injured, Gustafsson did pretty well holding down the fort, alright? Scrivens, Rhinus, whoever, I think Scrivens was the one playing backup at the time. And, they did pretty well. And then Reimer comes back when the Leafs are struggling, and good old Coach Wilson, sorry for my dog, who I still respect to this day, decides to throw in Reimer against the Boston Bruins as his return. That's just horrible. You're feeding him to the dogs, alright? That They lost, of course. You can't put a guy who just came back from an injury against the defending Stanley Cup champions, alright? That's just crazy. And it wasn't even in Toronto, it was in Boston. So, you've got the Stanley Cup champions, you've got a return from an injury, and you've got the home fan base there, and just that's just a mixture for disaster, okay? And he gets put in the net, they get shelled, and it's just crazy. And a lot of people don't know that Reimer played 3 less games than the first season he played. That's ridiculous, alright? 3 less games. He went 14-14 this season with 4 OT games and same amount of shutouts, alright? He had 97 goals against, which is only 7 more than his season, his first season, which a lot of people are saying that he just got shelled every game, but that's not true because obviously he's only got 7 more goals against, and playing 3 less games. I know that's not very good, but you know, it's only 3 less games. He had about over 100 less saves. Okay, that happens. His save percentage was .900, which is only 21 points a difference. His goals against average was not very good, but you know, still not horrible with a 3.10. And he played 1,879 minutes, which is, you know, about 200 less minutes than his first season. Guys, you gotta understand this. When somebody comes into Toronto and they become God, then if they have an off season, us Toronto fans sadly jump off the bandwagon until he's better. That is not me though. I am not like that. I can give you my honest thing on that. I will be a Reimer fan for the rest of my life until he dies, until I die. Okay? He is an amazing goaltender, a very good person, and he deserves to be playing as a starting goaltender. Now, if without that injury, Reimer was playing great, amazing, okay? And everybody knows that. When Reimer's not injured, look out, because Reimer's a good goaltender, and he'll put his body on the line for a game. Now, I'm trying to be not biased here. I know it's gonna happen, but you gotta understand, Reimer may not be one of the best goalies in the NHL, but a healthy James Reimer is a great goaltender, okay? Look at, you know, impressive numbers like 37 games, he went 20-10 with 3 shutouts, and he basically almost brought the Leafs to the playoffs, which not most goalies can say besides Ed Belfour, alright? And of course, goalies before that, I'm just saying, since Ed Belfour, nobody's done it. You gotta understand this. He's playing in Toronto, okay? I gotta be honest. I'm a Toronto fan, he's playing in Toronto. The media kills you. It kills you in Toronto. And they showed up to Reimer's door when he was injured, like, basically tearing his mother apart in the media and tearing Reimer apart, and then he gets thrown back into Boston and he's just trashed on by Boston. The media goes after Reimer saying he's not healthy, blah, 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 blah. Alright? This is what disappoints me, okay? We were all the Optimus Rhyme fans, alright? And the media was great on Reimer, but as soon as he makes a mistake, everybody turns on him, alright? I know there's still some loyal Leaf fans that'll stay with Reimer, but there's those people who say, oh, Reimer sucks, yeah, you know, he sucks. Yeah, why don't you go back from an injury getting kicked in the head, and then why don't you go face Boston in Boston, and, you know, just battle through your injury with the Boston Bruins, defending Stanley Cup champions. Just go do that, and then tell me how you feel after that. Okay, there's my little rant on that, alright? You can't blame Reimer for some of his disappointing play, because injuries and, you know, every goalie's going to have a couple tough games. And look at, Reimer only allowed 7 more goals than he did when he was the Optimus Rhyme savior of the world. Okay? You have to have a team in front of you. Okay, I'm so glad Luke Schenn is gone, because I don't know how many times I could show you highlights of when 2 minutes into the game Luke Schenn gives up the puck and they end up scoring because it's like a 3-on-0. Okay, and it's not only Luke Schenn though. everybody has a fault in a loss. So you can't just go ahead and blame the goalies. And you know what? I'm not the biggest Gustafsson fan. You know what? I hope he does amazing in Detroit. I hope he steals the season for Detroit, alright? Because I respect NHL goaltenders because they get the most blame. Because I'm a goaltender myself, and you have to understand that goalies get the most blame in all of the NHL. All of it. Okay? Now, you can't just blame the goalie because there is no I in team, alright? There may be an I in win, but that's just being cocky, alright? And I know cocky because sometimes I can get that way, and that's not a very good thing. And a whole team takes a loss, and if you hear interviews with players, you know, they say right in the interview, our goalies did as much as they can, you know? They're there to stop the puck, and that's not the easiest job. So let's leave with that, alright? Reimer will have a standout year, a healthy James Reimer. He's been recovering since the offseason. I believe in him. And whoever comes into Toronto, Luongo, Bernier, they better watch out because that number 1 position will be with James Reimer.